And then the music changes. Right, so back to the usual setting, back to the usual stage. So what's are those crazy ideas you've got, Rainbow?
Over the new outpost?
Yeah.
Well, the ideas I got were that the new outpost is going to look different than the outpost they have in the original Frostpunk.
What do you think should be in this outpost? What do you think would make it different?
Well, first off, I think that it's going to look like what they have presented at Winterhold, but then the vehicle should be look a lot bigger.
What do you
I
mean?
mean, a lot bigger.
When you say a lot bigger, like where are you going with this?
Well, the vehicle from Winterhome should just bigger. I mean, wait. Give me a second and
No problem. You got all the time in the world.
have my. You know, can you find a picture with that vehicle on Winterhome? I mean, gameplay-wise.
No, I don't have any, I actually don't have any of it because I haven't played Winterhome in a while. But I'll bring it up Sunday. So like Sunday, I'll bring that up. But we can talk about the initial
Well,
stages of it for now.
you don't need to because I'm already searching it, but I mean, one times the size.
One times the size of it.
Yeah, just one size bigger. Because then you can have four scouts, and then you can drive it everywhere. You wanted to let that thing mine resources and everything?
No, I wasn't saying it should be. Well, if that's possible, it could act as a mobile outpost. It would make things a bit more interesting. No?
Yeah, then you will still need a little bit of the old Teamster outpost to go to that vehicle. But they have then a smaller size vehicle, just original as Winterhome.
Mm-hmm. What exactly do you mean?
Well, what do I mean? I mean they have that original vehicle from Winterhome, the other one is bigger. Just what you said about a mobile outpost.
Yeah, so I was saying let me just fix this stupid title for the thing. Oh, hold on. We should be up and running back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Music's gonna change in a bit. But like
Understood.
the outpost thing, I'm saying that that machine itself is necessary, not in the sense that 11-bit Studios has to provide that machine to the community. I'm saying it's necessary
Well,
because
it is a option, and if you do use it, well,
I think an option would be the best thing for something like that. Knowing what the direction that the game is going. I was thinking that since as we have an endless mode, the endless mode should be a scenario where I don't necessarily have to like come out of it. They should use it as a means of telling various stories and exploring other adventures without actually doing a full on, oh, I'm going to have a particular scenario. Well, they could keep the scenarios, as I'm saying, but they could use the endless mode as a means of adding in all their tech if they want to do that. So instead of you only be able to experience the ARC's technology in the ARC scenario, you can experience it in the endless mode. What do you think?
Well, I think it is wonderful. It's actually actually brilliant.
Yeah, because I think they already have the tech working, and I don't think it would be a case that they would have to change things. I'm not sure. That depends on how development. Oh, I got a message from one of my good friends. Hold on. Yeah, what were you saying now?
Um, I was saying that is going to be good. That option is going to be used. That's what I try to say.
Yeah, it should be an option because the outpost is still there. In if you look in the game, the outpost layout is still there. And if they actually did that,
Yep, the layout is still there, and but what has been done is really what you said.
what did you say? You broke up.
Um, I said that was a great idea that from the output and that's what you said.
Yeah, it would be it's a brilliant idea, and it would be a little bit better versus the other plans that they might have had in terms of probably not using it. It's a good thing, and I hope it actually gets. Hold on, I'm just adding in something.
Yeah. You're really breaking up on my side.
Yeah, so let's switch the chat to something else. So I'm gonna call you, all right?
Yeah.
Chat's not working the way it should, but that's okay. Things get hairy sometimes. Oh, yeah. This should be much, much, much better. Is everything better now?
Yep, everything is better. I don't know what is going on there, but
The
I
radio,
think they're working on their chat.
the radio is experiencing some technical difficulty. That's
Yep.
that's the best that I could actually come up with. And yeah, if reproduction to an extent was a possibility, from the initial stages, because it was something that I heard something like one of those gaming websites say that there was reproduction, but I've never seen it. That's irrelevant at the moment still. But that vehicle would be the next best thing for Frostpunk in terms of transportation and getting from point A to point B. If they actually did that, I would
Yeah.
actually.
Just like the mobile dreadnought. They refueled in Winterhome.
Yeah, the dreadnought from Winterhome. But the thing is that dreadnought is like a triggered event, almost like a cutscene. So you don't really have power over it. They never allowed you to visit the site because I'm assuming that it would have taken a lot of resources to actually build these sites. But they could probably allow this in expanded versions of the game, allowing you to visit certain areas and explore them, or like when you set down the mobile outpost, you can visit it and see what's going on there and how things are working with it.
That is right.
But it all depends on what 11-bit studios does, because every single time I play this game, I just want to go into the endless mode and just find something new. So I was thinking that some form of treasure chest system, or like what do you call it? Is that the game that they call treasure hunt? Something like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunt. I read much about treasure.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like a treasure hunt would probably be one of the best ways for 11-bit studios to really get certain people like to continuously play the game, because If there's a means for me to gain new technology just by exploring other areas, then by all means I'm gonna keep playing because I want to get it. So like a reward-based system for players in a sense. So in Endless it never gets boring because there's always something to do. There's always something interesting. You have to fuel the machine so it can go out into the Frostland. It needs coal, and then once it gets the coal, it can release that coal as an energy source. And then after that, it can go. So I was thinking that if you have this mobile outpost, it should have a limit, seeing as it can go anywhere within the Frostland. It can stay within the Frostland for about probably 7 days if you give it 1,000 coal or whatever it is, and then after that, when it's near its finishing point, it will automatically make its way back to the city. And if it doesn't make it back there, then you have to send a team from that same, either it be an outpost or a garage, and they would have to refuel it within the Frostland, and that would take probably 5 hours or so.
Yep. That is true.
What other ideas do you have?
I just uploaded the picture of the transport what we were talking about, that one size bigger.
Yes, thank you. This is the thing that I actually wanted. So now we can have the discussion.
Yeah, I'm sorry of the sport thing that was from another YouTuber.
Don't worry, I know how to edit out the thing. I know how to edit that kind of stuff. You know, because I don't want to have anybody's thing in it. Once it belongs to Frostpunk, then technically it's within the free domain as it relates to the game. But like anything else, I don't really mess with that, especially if it's other people's content. I don't really trouble it. I usually steer clear of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I respect people's work.
Yeah. Me too.
So here's a machine that I was talking about. Should go live now. That machine right
I'm
there.
going over to your channel. I'm not there yet, but I will be very soon.
Okay, so the machine is up now, and that's the machine that I was saying could be repurposed. So a lot of times when games have assets or when developers are working on projects, you can see this in the game Far Cry 3 and Far Cry Primal. They reuse the assets, and so it would be
I hear you in the background.
Yeah, you would get more resources out of this by allowing it to station itself somewhere in the Frostland and then gather resources. And the scouts could actually hitch a ride on it if possible to get from point A to point B, and then they disembark and the crew will stay out there. And so, as I think about it, Rainbow, I'm thinking that some of the things to keep this thing running out in the Frostland would be food, and then you would need coal and probably 5 steam cores or 1 steam core, and then if you want to customize it, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, go interrupt. I think the thing, how right it is, how I see it, it uses 1, 2, 3 steam cores.
3 steam cores? That
3
doesn't...
steam cores with the like what I guessed it. 3 steam cores entirely to keep the oven running. I think they replaced the coal with another energy source. I'm just thinking of another energy source. I mean that carbon dioxide can actually be used to fuel that thing.
Maybe what's happening is the same thing with the automatons. There is they suck in the steam, and then the steam is used for a longer period of time based on the internal combustion engine.
Hey, wait, that was what I tried to say last time.
Yeah,
it sucks up the
steam,
the carbon dioxide, and
it doesn't suck
it will
up
make their lifespan longer.
Well, yeah, that
because
could be.
in winter when the generator was too old.
It was too old. No, that's not what happened. It exploded and they had to rebuild it. And so I was saying that since as we have the machine to, examine the generator, we could use that same machine to construct another generator, that same building. So we would build a building in the same spot, and then the people would work on building a new generator site.
This is actually true.
It would be really cool to see happen. I would actually love to experience building another city. One day in the future, I hope 11-bit studios. One day.
I know, one day they will implement it.
Yeah, it would be so nice if they did. But that vehicle, I want to hear some of your radical ideas. If you hear me yawning, it means I'm hungry. I'm probably gonna snatch 2 biscuits in a bit.
Well, I didn't hear. Luckily, I didn't hear it. So.
Yeah. So, like, tell me some of your crazy ideas.
Well, that vehicle could be one size bigger. Your idea of these skis or scooter bikes on it, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It could also have just when the machine claps out, there will be a train on it to explore the underground parts.
Yeah. You could have like a system where they start working on building like a pipeline all the way outside of the city to get rid of the carbon dioxide that gets released.
Wait, that is what happened. That is what happened. I mean, another generator is built underground, underneath the ice.
So the thing is though, it's one generator, but what they do is they build a area underneath it that collects back the carbon dioxide and then funnels that carbon dioxide back out of the city. So the coal to an extent never really reaches it never really leaves the area. What you see coming out of it is really steam. So the coal gets
carbon dioxide.
Yeah, the carbon dioxide gets released in the chamber and it's burnt, and then it goes up and then it goes back down and then out, and then there's a pipe that leads it outside of the crater, and that's where the poisonous, harmful gases go.
Yeah, because if you look at the generator, it has 3 main pipes that go underground. And when you upgrade to the last level, level 4, all the pipes go underground.
Yep. Those pipes.
And that's what I said. That's what I actually said.
Yeah, you did. You said
and you.
You did say that. And I have to agree with you on that. And I think the generator tower also has a steam core implanted in it as well. So all of those little things.
Leave that for my own story stream, please.
Alright, man.
Because this is going to be... this what we do have will be a really wild ride.
Oh yes, it will be. Just like how there's this play toy horse right here. Painted toy horse. Toy horse, not toy horse. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
The thing is though, when 11-bit studios made this game, or when the developers made this, I don't think they ever realized that it would get so much publicity and ideas, and people would receive it so well.
So big.
Yeah, some of the stuff and inspiring vision, some of the technologies that these guys are putting into these relics should be constructible. So the relics would act as a architect or an engineer's guide to building things. So everything that
I think actually those are blueprints to make something 3 times as better as it is.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking all of the blueprints or anything like that should be used as a means of building technology and storing it. When
Yes,
somebody,
and one thing, the rejected automaton are really, you know why they are rejected?
yeah, go on.
Well, they are rejected because they tested it and it harmed them in a sort of way. It harms them and it harmed a city. I think that the generator has from Winterhome gets one pet or one robot they tried to build. They were forced to deconstruct it because Winterhome was a authoritarian dictatorship.
Part of the story is kind of missing from the Winter Home because the Frostpunk wiki, to an extent, gives you like a portion of it, and then I kind of explained it another portion of it. And I think this is going to be that live stream when I actually tell the full story. So, long story short, during the time of the British Empire's final stages nearing the deep freeze, they sent out a lot of expeditions up north. You hearing me, Rainbow?
Now I hear you correctly.
And what happened is that they left the city. They left the city, and when they left the city, no, sorry, oops. That was another story. That was the, what do you call them? The Londoners. That story of the Londoners. Totally forgot about that one. For the winter home scenario, they built an installation out in the snow. They used an Arctic Land dreadnought to get there. So they had multiple dreadnoughts. A few of them malfunctioned, but they kept one stationary just in case things were going to go wrong. And so when this dreadnought became available for them, they kind of just left it there during the initial stages because their whole objective was to create a base of operations and then establish an area for the people from London to come. We don't know about Her Majesty as to what happened to her. She might be mixed in with the Lords. But what we do know is that Winterhome was a science outpost in its initial stages, and then after that, it then transformed into a city. And that is when the military that was occupying it decided to use law and order to actually force the inhabitants to follow a specific set of rules. And that would actually cause a big battle between a group of people within the city, and then they eventually killed each other. And between the infighting, the generator was left on overdrive. They killed the captain, it exploded, and then somebody had the wise idea to reconstruct it. And that's the story so far.
Well, I know it got left on overdrive, but I think also a robot that the engineers built, one of the automatons, one of the rejected automatons got built, I think, slapped the generator where it was in overdrive, then they signed the blueprint, how I see it right now, signed up on it, rejected, with the story, with a little bit of story, what happened, and then the automaton got lost.
Or it could be like this story. It could be like a little story about the endless mode, and it could be like a
because what I saw happening with the generator when I turned it into overdrive, it got crazy jumpy, some of the plates. And I thought, wait, something is stuck in one of those plates. What is actually stuck in that plate?
I think maybe debris.
Plates.
More than likely, I think more than likely it's debris from the fighting, because a lot of the buildings around the city exploded. and when that happened, you had a bit of issue in terms of
I
actually.
know a lot of those buildings got exploded, but the damage that I saw and the damage that was happened to the generator,
No, that's not
I
the.
don't think that explains a whole lot, but I trust you very well
I
to
don't know.
give
That's not
the
it.
most of it. Like,
No, that's not. That wasn't it. That what you saw there is the reconstructed one. When generators explode, the entire top part of it blows off, and then it lands on people. So that top part will explode, and then when it explodes, it will land on somebody and kill them, or land on a building and crush anybody inside of it. And when that happens, you will have to pull that back to the site and then rebuild all of that and then use a crane and stack it on. So that's more than likely what happened. You saw the refitted version of the Dreadnought that was on its, not the Dreadnought, the generator tower that was on its way out. And so they knew this, which is why they, somebody had the brilliant idea of leaving the land dreadnought available. Somebody was keeping that running quietly that we don't know about. And so this leads me to think that the individuals within Winterhome knew that there was going to be some form of calamity that would have occurred, and they planned ahead. But they killed the leader before they could figure that out. And then a large group of them.
I played Winterhome. I upgraded the generator to level 4. But I'm trying to say, I upgraded it. When I upgraded it, I get the feeling sometimes when I boost up, as the current generator currently was, I get the feeling that something was stuck inside. I mean, stuck inside like a hand.
Oh no, if a hand got stuck in the generator, it would have had to be the hand or one of the legs of an automaton, which there were no automatons in Winterhome until after the city exploded. So, in essence, I would say that more than likely it's a piece of falling debris that somehow got stuck within the generator from the previous explosion. And so they kind of didn't know what to do about the situation, so they just left it there. But Shadow,
okay,
I'm gonna have to take a break now because I gotta eat something, and we will be back on tomorrow. All right?
Yeah, tomorrow is the big thing because then the story will happen and finally part 2 will be implemented.